A warm welcome and good evening back to all of you who are in the platform here today and joining us live on Facebook and, of course, from other platforms as well. And welcome back to another session on the series of Meeting a CEO. So, I would like to invite our chairman, Mr. Bandula Godege, to express his wishes before we go on to the session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Kaushali. Thank you. Good evening to everybody who are participating for this wonderful event. And also, Sandra, thank you very much for being with us on the invitation of Dr. Rohanta. It is great to have you here. On behalf of our CEO, Roshane Godege, and the board of directors and the student population of APIT, very warmly welcome you back here. So, Sandra, I think probably you may have heard about APIT. APIT is known for a quality education. So as we expect that we don't only produce the academic excellence, the students with academic excellence, we need to have a lot of extracurricular activities, mainly to build up their leadership qualities and to have very rightful people for the future on the go. So that is the main objective. That is why we are embark with this nature the programs that Dr. Rohanta is conducting one wonderfully to give that direct experience to our student population and also the people who are joining us today. Probably during our small times, and to be frankly, we didn't have that exposure and that opportunity. So why you are here today? To give your knowledge and your experience to share with our student population. So this is a unique opportunity. One of the series of our events. So it is very personally, the topic that you are talking about, the dialogue success story. You don't have to prove anything. It is the real time episode. I'm using dialogue for many decades, so it is proven the success of Dialogs story. So Rohanta, I think you have selected the right topic for our students to explore. So without further ado, Sandra, once again, in spite of your busy schedule, thank you very much for devoting your valuable, precious time for our student population. So warm welcome. And wish you all the very best for the evening and the successful session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bandula.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Can I introduce our guest today, the Group Chief Custom Officer of Dialog Axiata, Sandra Zoysa. She's also the chairperson of the Digital Customer Experience Expert Working Group of Axiata and the director of Dialog Business Services. In addition to her role at Dialog, she is the founding member and the vice chair of SLASCOM, the Knowledge and Innovation Chamber of Sri Lanka, a founding board member of the Women's Chamber of Digital Sri Lanka, founding member of past vice president of Sri Lanka Institute of Service Management, or you call it SLISM, and the past advisory board member of CX Network IQPC UK. With over 3 decades of experience in the ICT industry, she is the recipient of the multiple global and local awards for women in management. In fact, Sandra is a recipient of the World Bank Award with Women in Management for outstanding leadership in Sri Lanka. It's exceptional what she has done. And of course, she's also in the sphere of telco and digital customer experience management. There is, no one who has this kind of experience that Sandra has. Some notable global accolades include the AX50 Ambient Experience Leader 2020, CX Leader of the Year 2019, and CXPA Global CX Award winner 2015. Avid keynote speaker, presenter, and a juror at Global Customer Experience at Telco Conference and Awards, Sandra has spoken at over 180 global events. She's the only certified customer experience professional in Sri Lanka an alumna of the Cranfield School of Management in UK, a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt practitioner and a certified Scrum Master. Sandra is also a visiting lecturer at the University of Colombo School of Computing since 2009. Sandra, it's actually a pleasure to introduce you. It's actually an honor. We've had many speakers, but the kinds of background that you come from and what you have done for the country is like amazing. And we love to hear your dialogue success story. Over to you.
Thank you, Rohanta. Thank you firstly for having me here, inviting me. The pleasure of this evening and the privilege actually is all mine. I'm happy to be here. The topic, since I asked you what's the best topic and you said the dialogue success story, I've taken that on and tried to start that way. But otherwise, I would never want to actually put up a slide that says success story. Dialogue, we want to be really humble about not really talking about these things. It's always best that other people talk of us and not ourselves, right? But having said that, the theme of today is I want to share what we've been through in this journey of 25 years. This is a very special year for us because it also marks 25 years of dialogue being in country in Sri Lanka and serving the Sri Lankan citizens and serving the nation. So with that, I will move on quickly to look at three parts. Just a quick look at who we are and who Axiata is. Also to look at our journey from three lenses. One is our cultural transformation journey. More recent times, our digital transformation journey. And beyond that, how we see ourselves and how we want to play in this space, looking at analytics in particular. And all of the digital tools and platforms that are available to us to support and facilitate our customers, especially through COVID times, in order to be able to manage their lives, whether it's work or personal or education, as we all know it to be for a long time now. The third part of it is just to talk to you about the fact that it's been a journey. And a journey has been not an easy one. So it's really a journey of 25 years. I want to talk to you particularly about how when I joined, Dialog was really the underdog. We were the fourth entrant in the marketplace. And very quickly we moved up to being market leaders. We've remained there for over 2 decades. But as you might very well know, and a lot of you might very well know, it's not an easy thing to do, to remain market leaders and to remain ahead of the game. But the promise of Dialog has always been from the inception for 25 years. You know our tagline really well for those of you in Sri Lanka. It's Dialog, the future today. So our promise to our customers was that we will always bring the best in technology ahead of everyone else to the Sri Lankan citizens. And that means we will always present the future ahead of time today. So we want to be doing just that for our customers. A little bit about Axiata, and I have to tell you this about Axiata because of the fact that Axiata and prior to that Telecom Malaysia has actually been a friend of Sri Lanka. 25 years ago, they actually decided to invest in Sri Lanka. And that was, you know, in war times. Not everybody was investing in Sri Lanka back then, right? So we've actually invested something like 102 billion in terms of investment. And Axiata obviously is a company that believes in Sri Lanka no matter what. Through thick and thin, they continued to invest in Sri Lanka. So that, I think, is a very commendable thing. And we are privileged to have Axiata as our parent company. Axiata itself operates in so many countries in this region. It's about 9 mobile operating companies and a couple of other telco related companies. It's a group that has now moved on into a digital business. And so we are proud to be setting up fully fledged digital telco businesses across all the countries that Axiata operates in. Dialog is also proud because of the fact that Axiata, just like Dialog, has been very conscious of their journey in excellence. So they have won, the Telecoms Group of the Year for 6 consecutive years. And across the region, we actually have 153 million subscribers. Axiata itself has a market capitalization of 37.9 billion and about 12,000 employees. So our first investment outside of Malaysia was Dialog in Sri Lanka. And they've remained there. They haven't pulled out. They've continued to invest over 25 years. So that's a little bit about our wonderful parent company that we're very proud to be a part of. And I will tell you how they support us in a bit. And of course, Dialog needs no introduction. So I'm not going to tell you too much about Dialog, except that every household, 1 in every 3 to 5 customers in Sri Lanka is a Dialog customer, right? So we are inside everyone's household because we are doing multiple services that we offer. And of course, we were listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange way back in 2005. And true to our promise, we have always tried to bring the best of telecommunications and technology to Sri Lanka ahead of the market. So I'm not going to talk to you about that. I'm going to move on to our recent times, what our focus is. So Axiata, their strategy in 2016, we've taken a turn towards being a digital telco and looking at the digital landscape and the need for customers in this region. And with that in mind, we actually moved on to really looking at our company in a completely different way across the markets that we operate in. We decided that we didn't want to be known as a technology company. We decided that we wanted to be a customer-focused company. So our focus really was saying we are a giant telco, we are legacy, we have too many legacy systems, we are going to change. We're going to focus on customer journeys and simplifying customer journeys in a way that we can offer seamless and the best journeys, simple journeys to our customers to be able to interact with us in their day-to-day requirements, right? And also the other thing was automation. We wanted to look at digitization and automation and help our customers ahead of time to sort of embrace a digital lifestyle and for us to focus on hand holding them into a digital future. As promised by us, we are the future today. So that's what we wanted to do. And that's something that we've continued. And during COVID, of course, it has been really easy because everyone has been forced to go adopt digital. And that's kind of made perhaps my life even a little bit easier because the adoption is a little easier now because we are compelled to do this. In terms of outcomes, we wanted to really focus on value creation for our shareholders, our customers, employees, and of course, our partners. We want to really focus on what value we bring to them. We want to look at our value propositions from their eyes and then really start looking to how we deliver those. So it's more of looking from outside in as opposed to looking from inside out, which is what we are traditionally used to doing. In terms of a strategy, the president of Axiata and the senior leadership team across all these 11 countries came together to learn, to understand what digital was about, what digitization was about, what it entailed, what were the various models available, what are the frameworks that we could adopt. And then every single one of us went through, a systematic program of educating ourselves. So we were all sent off to school, literally. We went to do some digital strategy session, which was at IMD in Lausanne, Switzerland. We also did two programs in telecoms and digital with INSEAD. And most recently now, even now, after all this time, we are going through in the last 6 months a Harvard Business Program on digital again. So it's been a journey even for all of us, even after all these years of experience heading digital telcos and companies, to be consistent with knowledge, and to be able to gather knowledge and to be able to learn every single day, because this landscape is changing faster than we can imagine, right? If we look today to what might be the skills of the future, the businesses of the future, the need in terms of capacity building, education for the future 5 years down the road, we really don't know what that might be, because there can be so many new skills that come around. So we keep that in mind, and we want to have a learning organization across Axiata, including at Dialog. So in terms of implementation, now this was my little story when I was feeling very, very challenged. Because when it came to implementation, a lot of our other operating companies appointed a chief digital officer, right? And some of these chief digital officers, I kid you not, were actually brought from Vodafone in the UK, some from Europe, and so on, right? Now, here at Dialog, my boss back then, Dr. Hans, he thinks of things very differently. He believes in our talent, in our local talent. He thinks that they are the absolute best, right? He actually believes that they're better than a lot of other resources you find in the rest of the world. So with that, he's decided that I had to take on this role of implementing this entire digital strategy, and managing this program in Sri Lanka for Dialog. And he didn't take no for an answer. He didn't care that I was not an engineer, that I had didn't have my fundamental education in technology or IT. He didn't care, because he said that is easy to come by, but what was actually difficult was to get everybody in the company to look at, to view business through the eyes of a customer. And if there was anyone who could have had the customer's interest at heart, obviously I would have been the ideal candidate, the way he saw it, because of the fact that I've spent over 30 years doing nothing else but looking at customer service, serving customers, looking at service delivery, and so on. So that is something that I embarked on. And our program, was also founded on Axiata strategy. So we had 10 key focus areas. As you might see, I'm not going to read them out to you. And of course, we had something called a triple cross strategy, which was really to look at how we move into the digital sphere, finally resulting in being a digital telco champion in the region first, and of course, globally next. So that's how we started all this off, and that was our journey. Now, coming into Sri Lanka, and when I thought of implementing this program at Dialog, obviously I'm a customer person. The only thing I can think of is customer. So you will see that our middle pillar, which was a customer experience vision that I quickly set up, which actually talks about customer experience transformation towards a digital future. So that was one thing I wanted to handhold, help our customers to get there. The next thing was that we needed to look at humanizing digital care, because everyone doesn't want to be interacting digital. They prefer to speak to human beings. So how do we look at making it simple, easy, fast, pleasant for our customers? So that's still a challenge as we continue to grow on this journey. The third thing was how we create value for our customers. So when you look at creating value, there are 3-4 things that are important to human beings, to all customers, even to me, even to you. And those are, what do we really do every day in life? We're looking at fulfilling our consumers' needs. As customers, we do exploration, we do self-expression, consumption, and engagement. Right now, engagement needs to be emotional. So it's really emotional engagement, especially in this point in time when we live in a virtual world, right? So we have to actually look at helping our customers out through their exploration process, their self-expression, like go on Facebook and so on. Exploration, go search for goods and things you want to buy, what you want to learn. Consumption, to really click a button and buy what you want. And of course, engagement, again, Facebook and so many other platforms we have through which we engage with everyone, right? And this actually had to be personalized, which is still a challenge that we're slowly going through, to look at segments not as a segment. So it's not men, women, age group of this, and so on, right? We look at segment as segment of one. So today's businesses have to look at segments as one. Every individual is a segment, right, by itself. So it's personalized, customized engagement to a segment of one. So that is the real challenge, and that's the journey we were setting out on. Apart from that, it needed to be ubiquitous because of the fact that it all needed to come together in terms of platforms. It can't be everything all over the place and 100 different places to go to. And of course, in the end, it had to result in us being able to enrich experiences and enrich our customers' lives. How do we do this? As Dialog, we need to make sure we are transparent, that our customers can trust us, and that, of course, we are reliable and also affordable, right? Now, if we can give our customers transparency, trust, reliability of our services, and affordability, then I think we have a great proposition. So that was my first area of focus. Now, my second area of focus was people, because I believe that people make the biggest difference in any business. Therefore, we set off a new set of values, in which we had 7 of them, but our first value was what I truly believed in, something I coined as service from my heart. So I actually wanted to build a culture which was every single employee wanting to serve their internal and external customers sincerely from their heart. So our first value at Dialog is called service from my heart. The second value is create the future, because we are about the future today, and that's the promise we have given our nation. So it's about creating this future for our customers. Third is the fact that everything is ever changing, and we truly needed to be champions of change. If every single employee was not a champion of change, together as a company, we will not be able to get there. And of course, there are the other, which are very important elements in terms of values, which is exceptional performance. Everyone had to be a great performer. They had to be at the best and the top of their game. They had to be on a journey towards excellence. Every step of the way, every day, try and make something different, learn something new, make a change in someone's life, and so on. And of course, uncompromising integrity is a given, right? That's hygiene, that has to be there. But also leadership. So responsible leadership, no matter what job you're doing, how do you focus on leadership? And then, of course, to act as one team, we call it API Dialog family. So we are API Dialog team. Now I come to the business model side. So in this business model, when we looked at a Harvard business model, anyone who wants to lead and be leaders, there were 3 dimensions, and you had to at least be master of 2, if not 1. So the dimensions are innovation, operational excellence, and customer experience. And at Dialog, we decided we will focus on innovation and customer experience. So innovation is about product leadership, operational excellence is about cost leadership, and customer experience, of course, is about customer service and service leadership, right? So with that, we embarked on this journey. How did we do it? These 3 pillars that were very key to us. Our digital culture was all about how we take our employees on this journey of educating themselves, equipping themselves, upskilling themselves, and be able to work in a very collaborative manner across the region, across operating companies, across divisions inside Dialog, and so on, right? And it is to instill a digital DNA. At Axiata, we call it MAD, right? MAD stands for Modern, Agile and Digital Organization. So we wanted and we set off to build a MAD organization, which was a modern, agile and digital organization. So that was the first thing. And all of these programs that we have for our staff, for our employees across all countries, are focused on how our employees are equipped, thoroughly equipped, to be able to have skills of the future, to be able to continue on this journey, to be able to add value to Dialog. Second one is what I told you about, service from the heart. I call it SFH, right? Service from the heart. The theme is about your smile, my passion. So if I passionately do my job every day, your smile means I'll see a smile on a customer's face. So everyone should work towards trying to be able to build a culture of positivism and to be able to put a smile, regardless of whether you're an internal customer or you're serving external customers, put a smile on everyone's face. And we have a huge program around this. This has been a program we've been doing also for 5 years or more. And that's really sustaining us through these very difficult times when everyone's working from home, because it's a lot of emotional engagement. It's a lot of celebrating each other and what we are doing through this program, and really giving our staff recognition. So it's really about building that customer centric culture, which is super important to us. Now, the third piece being tech. We are no doubt a tech company, and our key focus is on obviously, investing on tech, investing on bringing even 5G to you and the best technology possible and available. But not just that, building out all this, we are also very cognizant of the fact that our employees needed to have all the tools necessary, not just the knowledge, to do their work better. So with that, we have embarked on a huge program that gives them all the tools necessary to work from home, even without a hindrance, and to be able to do their job. Why? Because analytics is the game. Analytics is the new oxygen. Analytics is actually, data is the new oil, as you know. All right, that's a statement everyone knows. So being a telco, you can imagine the amount of data points, the amount of information we have. Now, if you actually want to bring segment of one to our customers, analytics is the way to go. So everybody has to be competent in the area of analytics. So this, I would say, is predominantly our secret sauce. So this is just a quick look at what the leadership team at Axiata and Dialog thinks. So when we set off on this program 2014, you will find that the MD, President, CEO of Axiata actually said customers' issues are every employee's issues. So, you can actually, anyone in Sri Lanka or anywhere in the world, they can actually go right to the president of Axiata and he will still reply you if it's a customer problem. Of course, our own Dr. Hans, who's now the regional CEO, says service from the heart is part of our DNA, and he actually helped me establish this. More recent times, Supun Veerasinghe, who now heads Dialog, says we need to go above and beyond to delight our internal and external customers. And these are not just words, right? They actually do this. They are available to customers. They look at all the customer matrices on a daily basis, because they are so interested in what goes on. Some of the things that we do inside SFH, first we have an SFH pledge, and we have hundreds of things we do, but I'm just really looking at 3 parts. Then we have something called Kill the Rule, and of course recognition for our employees. So Service from My Heart pledge is about that program I told you across all verticals in Dialog, where they have to pledge their commitment. As you can see, some of these images, these are all heads and GMs of Dialog. Every single one has to give their service promise, and they have to be able to walk their talk. They have to actually take a pledge, like we would say, I promise to whatever, like that, right? In front of everyone across the company as well. So this is them, putting their money where their mouth is, I would say, and walking the talk, because they have to adapt to service from the heart program. So everyone, and it starts at the leadership team. The next thing is, of course, about all the barriers and hindrances that we have to doing our work and providing good service to customers. So those are called kill the rule. All the policies in the company or processes that don't allow people to serve customers well, we have like a process by which we look at all of these given by our employees, and then we look at killing all those rules. So we call it kill the rule because we want to take away all these barriers one by one. And of course, within our Axiata and Dialog, within both our recognition programs, we have an amazing, we have this event at Nelumpokuna or at the Shangri-La. It's massive. We bring everyone in for a celebration, which is our awards. And we have a whole segment called Service from My Heart Awards, awarding, rewarding, recognizing employees in engineering across all of the, not just frontline, but even finance, engineering, and so on across this program, right? So this is Digital Jam that you see on this little video that's playing. These are part of the engagement activities that we do across Axiata. You can see they are very interesting, and everyone comes together in hundreds of people doing cook-offs, doing singing competitions, bringing digital in. So we have a lot of digital related hackathons, datathons, championships, and this Digital Jam was the biggest, I think, digital sort of engagement event across the region anyone would have ever had. Having said that, of course, we invested on this talent program. So we invested $6 million on this talent program. We built social workplaces, enabling our teams to be able to work agile. And of course, we have our innovation foundry, in which we actually put money and give money away to employees. They can even take a sabbatical if they have a great idea to do something. We will give them funding. We will give them support through our innovation fund that Axiata has set up. We will actually give them a sabbatical to go and become an entrepreneur. So this is to encourage entrepreneurship. And then if they want to come back, they can. If it doesn't work, give it up, come back to work. Otherwise, they can become a successful entrepreneur. They move on. So this is a quick look at our framework, our digital maturity framework. We started off with a different one, but later we came to a stage where we figured that the internal organization had to also be built up really strong in terms of our support officers. And therefore, we moved into this new framework. And I'm happy to tell you that across Axiata companies, Dialog leads in digital customer experience in particular, and we are at on this framework we are at 4.93, nearly at 5, so which will make us a global according to global benchmarks, a leading digital company, telco company, right? So that's something that we have with great passion and great difficulty, a program that we have worked through to get us there. How did we do it? So when I first set up, this is the structure we set up. So we wanted to be the first digital customer experience, the #1 digital customer experience provider in Sri Lanka. And we had many layers. You will see at the lowest level, fundamental is a network. So we took on an investment and a program to do network modernization across the various verticals that you will see in order to be 5G ready as well. IT modernization, which we program that we took up, and across so many things, which is our microservices. I'm not going to talk to you about our OSS, BSS, and so on. But a new piece was, of course, our APIs, microservices, and our omni-channel platforms that allows us to give our customers a good user interface and a good user experience. On top of that was our data analytics and intelligence pillar. There we have machine learning, real-time data feeds, dynamic segmentation, and of course, RPA. Then on top of that was our simplification journey. So we looked at back office digitization, something we call A to C, O to A is, it's like the customer life cycle. It's like order to, like, bill to order, order to capture, and then how you serve, and so on. B2C is also like, bill to collections, and T2R is trouble to resolve. So it's like your customer's life cycle and how we simplify these journeys. Then on top of it, we had our digital centricity, which was our two big pillars that I explained to you already: customer experience and people organization. So this is really our internal framework for getting through this journey. So having some of the things that we did was to set ourselves, break down the pillars of organizations, and to set ourselves in this manner, right? To do agile at scale. The way we are now organized ourselves is in teams, and these agile teams across multiple disciplines work on a project together. When that project is over, they move to a new project, and so on. And so in each team, all the decision makers are there. You see Scrum Master there. I wanted to figure out what that was. So finally, I actually took one certification for Scrum Master so that I can even manage a team like this. Otherwise, I am someone who did not have that skill, right? So we have all of them coming together to look at this new way of working, to break down barriers, to break down silos. And even when you look at today's dialogue, when we look at how performance reviews get done, we actually have multiple, no one has one boss anymore. We have multiple bosses, multiple stakeholders, multiple projects that everyone works in, that are spread across the company. So it's not verticals saying it is the marketing division's project or this is a technical project. It's like it's everyone's project and everybody has to work together on it, right? So this is how we've kind of set ourselves up for the most part, and it's still a journey, so we're still continuing to do this. In terms of analytics, everybody has to be good at it, so we've set up analytics in a way that we have experts. Now you see there on the slide that says customer experience, sales, marketing, mobile, broadband, home, fintech, so on, right? So we've actually set ourselves in a way that we have our own analytics teams across all of our verticals, right? And we do our own analytics because the knowledge has been provided, the tools have been provided, and we need to make our own dashboards for what is important to us and what is important for us to do our day-to-day job, right? So we do this all on our own, and we call it analytics at the edge. And edge means us. The users are capable of creating the analytics they want. They no longer have to depend on an IT division or someone else. So that's really a lot of the work that we did. So I come to my last segment, which is really about going from the underdog 25 years ago to becoming the market leaders, and how hard it's been to stay there. It hasn't been easy. So when you look at this very crowded slide, and this is not even all of the awards we won really, but you can see our focus on quality and consistency, and our focus on being on a journey of excellence. We never thought about it. 25 years now, looking back, we're thinking, oh my gosh, we've done all this. But when we started, we were 1999, we started off with saying, okay, we want to get ISO, and it was such a big thing for us. It was also quite difficult, but along the way, you can see we have consistently won slim, Nielsen brand awards for like some 6-7 years, and so on. Won a lot of global awards, and a lot of certification programs that we've embarked in to make sure that our company, our staff, our employees, are able to keep up and are able to build an organization that they can be proud to work at, and are proud to go out there and talk about our products and services and sell, because we do believe in quality and excellence. So it's been like a long, tough, hard journey through these 25 years to get there. But if I were to look at my Lean Six Sigma, passion for Lean Six Sigma, I started off in 2009 a company-wide program in order to make sure that we set off this culture of process excellence. To me, I was personally passionate about this. So along the years, consistently, you can see I worked through trying to build this organization to have this kind of. So I am proud to say that we have over 150 Lean Six Sigma certified individuals working across the company. But moreover, in my own team, I have about 2,000 people working in my team. In my own team, my entire management team are also certified Lean Six Sigma master black, sorry, not master, but black belts. So including myself and my entire team, and those who report to them as well, they are working through green belt and then going off to black belt. So we have over 200 of them and 28 black belts as at now, through which just in my vertical, I've been able to deliver cost savings to the tune of about 2.8 billion rupees in terms of cost savings, because through this simplification, digitization, automation projects that we are doing. Having said that, and a little bit about this digital maturity index I talked about, I want to tell you where we stand. I already told you that we are at 4.93 in this global benchmark. If you look at McKinsey also has rated us when they did a study in Sri Lanka in 2018, that Dialog, has a global average is 44 within telcos, but Dialog is actually at 58 in terms of digital quotient, and in the top, quartile in telecoms globally. And of course, in Sri Lanka, rated amongst the top 5 digital champions in Sri Lanka. Now, all the others being e-commerce companies, telco, it's very difficult to get to this spot. I told you when we first started off, we started off with a different digital framework for digital customer experience, and that was called Oliver Wyman. So you see the Oliver Wyman figures here. Through the years, in 2017 we were at a 5.3, 2018 we came to a 6.3, in 2019 we came to a 7.2. As a digital business model, we were at 7.4, and digital customer experience we were at 7. Now, at that level of maturity, we decided this was not good enough for us, so we kind of transitioned to a new digital framework, which is the one that we're currently on. And if you were to look at LMD, they had ranked us as being number 1 in telco customer experience in 2018 and 19. So we actually also have a little recognition in Sri Lanka, which we are proud of, because it is our customers who rated and ranked us this way. And we're very humbled and proud to have this position in Sri Lanka as well. Looking at what we were doing, little milestones across the years from 1995, the things that we have focused on and have been able to bring to our customers. So way back in 2003, we had 1 million subscribers and got to being market leaders. And that was a really, really happy celebration for us. And then we slowly took off from being just in mobile business into fixed business, and slowly moving on to quad pioneering digital, and so on. And of course, where we are now currently is of course a bigger, better business, and much more credibility, and a lot better customer base as well. With that, this is just a quick snapshot of some of the things which we are proud of as Dialog. We're proud that People's Choice Awards, that we are winners, and of course that our customers are the ones who choose us to be in this place. So with that, I come to the end of my little talk, and like to hand over back to Rohantha.
Thank you very much, Sandra. I mean, amazing, what shall I say, thought process that you went through to show us this whole picture of the Dialog story. And I mean, thank you so much. I just have a few questions that have come from the MBA students, and you don't mind if I share a few slides?
Not at all.
Let me see whether I can. You'll have to stop, I think.
Yes. Done.
Okay. Can see?
Yes.
Okay, I think the real dialogue story, I did some research and I captured this, you know, from a 67 billion revenue by 2018, the brand had hit 109 billion, and the value of the brand from 28.6 billion had almost doubled to 54 billion, making it the most um, powerful brand and the most valued brand in Sri Lanka. So I think that captures everything with regard to what uh, Sandra very beautifully explained. I mean, she gave us the story as to how Dialog achieved all this. But if you are looking at it as a dashboard, I think this is the best dashboard that somebody can give to see your revenue pickup and how you have also added value to the brand. So, I mean, it's actually an honor to have you to share this story, Sandra. Um, so, um,
Wow, you're
so
gonna
I
have
mean,
pictures.
so I mean, I was able to do a little bit of mafia work, Sandra.
Can
So,
see that.
you know, your it's very strange, but if you look at your highest skill that has been ranked in LinkedIn by is on telecommunication, and you know, and the last uh, that was ranked was by your group CEO Supun Veerasinghe. So, what do you think, Sandra, is your uh, biggest challenge you all see for Sri Lanka telecommunication?
So I think the telecommunication sphere, the way we are currently in terms of our regulatory, landscape, is quite challenging in terms of getting spectrum, in terms of spectrum allocation, in terms of what we can do. While it's been so fantastic for us and it's been really helpful for us, particularly for Dialog, to be able to put up this network, to do everything that we have done. Currently we see that the needs of our customers, particularly during COVID, for communications is escalating at a speed that we cannot literally keep up. So if we were to have to build new towers, usually getting these approvals, putting up towers can take 6 months, 1 year, the approval process and so on, right? But our customers are not going to wait 6 months and 1 year. They need to be using their kids to do online education tomorrow, today, now. They need to do their homework now. And customers need to. So we do have some challenges in terms of keeping to that speed, to be able to do that. So I would say that's one of the challenges right now. Another, of course, is because of COVID, it's not very easy to go and build out towers and networks and all of that, even send out people, because there are the constraints right now related to moving around and being able to do this physical construction work more than anything else. So that also is a challenge. Another challenge I would say that I see is that more and more the need of telecommunications needs that our customers have, their maturity builds up much faster. And the way I look at it, kids who are now 2, 3, 4 years old, who are getting up and doing their online classes in their nursery now, I can't even begin to imagine their demands when they come into the workforce, even, right? When they come into business, when they become customers, they're going to be so digital savvy, and they're starting so young, as early as 3, 4 years old. I can't even begin to imagine serving customers like that, what that might be like, and what skills that we will need to have to be able to keep up, to bring these telecommunications needs to fulfill their needs ahead of time, as we have always kept to a promise of the future today. I don't know how soon, how well we can be able to do that. Right now, looking at the situation, which is our new normal, but of course we will strive hard to try and not break our promise to our customers.
Sandra, some people are texting me and saying that that they find that the communication is much more stable when it comes to fiber optic links, and that's something that they have problems when it comes to dialogue against SLT. What is your thought on that?
So see, SLT has been there. They are the incumbent. The kind of network, the technology they have in place, the coverage that they can have across the country is absolutely phenomenal. It's nowhere close to how fast we can do it, or what kind of investment we need to make to get there. But regardless, our fiber network also is aggressive. Our investors have invested in it in a way that we can also bring fiber just like they do. And I think we have an aggressive plan in which we are predominantly serving our corporate customers. We have the majority of the corporate customers working with Dialog Enterprise. And we actually serve, most of the biggest corporate giants in Sri Lanka. And I think we've, managed to, for the most part, be successful in bringing this technology to our customers. But of course, as I said, we do have challenges: road digging, bringing fiber to the last mile to the building. It's not easy, right? When you go on the streets, you see every day the roads are being dug up and closed up across the country. So if we do fiber, we also come across the same challenges. And therefore, it was not as fast as we would have liked it to be, but certainly we still persist and continue on our journey.
Sandra, going back to your LinkedIn account, I saw the second highest skill that you have is on management. I mean, in simple words, how do you define management in the way that Sandra de Zoysa defines management?
So to me, firstly, I look at everyone I work with as a family, right? There has to be, it's like your personal family at home. There has to be transparency, there has to be trust, there has to be unwavering commitment to do good for and what's best for your family, so your team. To be able to know each other's weaknesses and strengths, to be able to hold each other up through the challenges, and to be able to support your family, your team, through through where you don't have strengths. So if you're open and transparent about your strengths and your weaknesses, and everyone else in the team will have different skills and different strengths and weaknesses. So we need to sort of bring all our strengths together to really be able to lean on those, and to know each other's weaknesses, and know that one strength will be another's weakness, and that somebody will shadow you, somebody will hold you up, somebody will lift you up, and together. So for me, the biggest thing is, it is not about the individual, it's about the whole, right? So together we all succeed, and if not, we are all going to be falling apart. Together we can go a longer distance than you can go alone. And for me, if any individual in a team is trying to show themselves up a little more, and sort of, it's more about the individual, I kind of try to talk them into knocking that down. So I don't like a culture where people want to get glory for themselves. I want a culture where people are humble enough to say, it wasn't me at all, it was everybody in my team. I owe it to them, I shine because of them. And to be able to say that, right? So for me, that is fundamental. So if you have that kind of culture, then managing becomes very easy, because managing is not about one person leading. Depending on the situation, it's about different people in your team taking leadership. Some might be great at crisis management. Whoever that is must take leadership, everybody else must follow and say, we're coming on the team, please lead, I'm going. And that does not have to do with rank, right? That absolutely does not have to do with rank. It could be the most junior person in the team who is most equipped to lead in a situation. So each one has their skills and strengths, and we sort of rely upon and depend on each one to lead. And also to try and talk to people about sincerity, commitment, passion, honesty, trust, right? People have to be made up of that in their DNA. Somehow it has to be there. If all that comes into place, then people know what's right and how to act, walk, talk, think, behave within this API Dialog family, within this DNA of SFH service from my heart, within working in a mad organization, which is what I talked to you about, modern, agile, and digital. So, really, for me, management is about a journey of excellence. Every day, if you do at least one tiny thing to be better than yesterday, then you're managing yourself well. If you can manage yourself well, and if everybody is doing that, then I think management becomes an easy task for everyone.
That was the longest definition I have ever seen in my life.
Regardless,
I
I
think
want
it's
to
spot on.
explain it.
It's spot on, and I yet remember, Sandra, how I met you at church, and I said, Sandra, I want you to apply for the World Bank WIM Award, and the first answer you gave is, Ayo Rohanta, we don't at Dialog, none of us get awards. And then I said, no, you have done some fantastic work. You have to get recognized, and that's one of our jobs of being on that committee. We search for people who are not going to apply for awards, and with a lot of persuasion, you applied. And I was actually so thrilled to see you going up on stage and picking that award. And it's really fantastic, your journey, Sandra.
Thank you, Rohanta. I have to mention, though, that I'm very grateful because for all the global awards I have won, for all the global recognition I had, I had nothing in Sri Lanka until I personally, you recognized and you brought this thing up and actually insisted that, I come forward. So that was the first recognition I had in Sri Lanka for everything I've done, although I had won a lot of global awards for everything I'd done in Sri Lanka.
See, again, I was going through my guerrilla activity with your LinkedIn, and there was this gentleman called Somewhat Bhagya. I think he's from IIM in Indo.
Okay.
So I used to go to Indo quite often during my time with Diversity Level, because we were based in Bombay. And he says a beautiful thing. He says that the most highly skilled attribute in you happens to be CRM.
Okay.
Sandra, what do you think is the key issues you see in practicing CRM in Sri Lanka?
So CRM, to me, three aspects. CRM is a philosophy of relationship management. CRM is also actually doing. So it's like the operational piece where you're actually managing relationships, one-on-one or one-to-many. And there are platforms that help you and aid you manage customer relationships, right? So when these three are in sync and when all three come together, then it becomes holistic, and managing it becomes easier. But in terms of challenges, I think one of the three or one or two of them may be out of place. So people don't think extremely holistically about the philosophy, about the practice, as well as the platforms, tools, and whatever that's needed in order to help do this job the way it should be done. So I think that fundamentally is the problem, because a lot of people like to, in their advertising and all that, pay lip service saying, oh, our relationship management, we are the best, we do relationship, all kinds of stories. But really, they probably don't even help their employees learn the disciplines, the practice, further their knowledge, give them all the tools in order to be able to do their job really well, to aid them, to make it simple and pleasurable. for those using a CRM, tool, or doing relationship management in terms of account management, customer service management, sales management. These are all these frontline people who actually are the face and the voice of your brand. As I say, they are the face and voice. Their feet are on the ground. They go meet customers, so they are your voice or your pulse to the customer. Right now, if these people can't be looked upon as the most important resources, because they interact, they are the sort of the what's between your brand and customer. They are the ones who stand, they are the conduit between the two. So these people are super important, as I see it. The way I see it, if the better salaries and the better recognition and the better qualifications are for other disciplines, then equally important or more important, I'd say, are these frontline field force that actually do managing of your accounts, your customers face to face, which is a really complex and a very difficult job. So I think challenges are set around those aspects, and challenges are more because I would say organizations aren't really helping their employees to do this better.
Okay, what's happened here?
I can still hear you. Ooh. Oh my gosh, you've really gone and searched out my something. I'm not sure what this is, Facebook or LinkedIn or something.
So tell me one word that your friends will, your colleagues, I mean, I can see Hans, Nushad, Supun, I mean, Amali, the whole team is there. So
Yeah.
if there is one word to describe you, what will they describe you as?
I think they'll say I'm passionate. I'm super passionate to the point of, wanting to go over people, kick them down, kill them, squeeze their necks, doesn't matter what. But I'm very, very passionate to a point of, absolute craziness about whatever it is that I do.
Next, so you won so many awards. I think the last one I saw, Sandra, of you was at a global forum. Yeah, I think you did a presentation in Spain, if I'm not mistaken.
I did also, yes.
Yeah. So what was that topic you presented on?
I think it would have been definitely something digital, because the last award I won actually was virtual, because I couldn't go for the awards because COVID had started. Was wonderful because in the Grammys, in the global telco sphere, is this TM Excellence Awards or the GSMA Awards. The GSMA Award was the picture you had sort of highlighted in the previous slide, and the GSMA Awards was that. And TM Forum is about digital excellence. So it's about those who excel in digital across the globe. And we had the honor of winning customer experience and trust. So the category was customer experience and trust. That is their highest award for, and the newest award they introduced in the digital, excellence space. Dialog won that award, and we sort of went virtual, talk about it, and they mailed the award across to us. And I did make a presentation in the previous year that we could have traveled, and it was all about digital customer experience, because of the fact that in the previous year and the year before that, I was on the judging panel of the global awards for multiple awards, and then I was also a speaker. I was invited to speak at that forum for 2 years. So last year I couldn't, and they didn't have the event physically, but the year before and the one before that, I attended these awards and conference in Barcelona.
So, how did you get into this business? What made you get into Dialog?
So Dialogs, a funny story. I have always spent my entire career in this business. Very briefly, I worked at Maharajas, and then the first mobile phone company in Sri Lanka was setting up, which was Celtel. And purely being an early 20-year-old, early 20s, purely because it was something to do with the telephone and I can talk nonstop. And Rohanta, you know me, I can talk nonstop and endlessly anyway. I thought it was a great idea to have a phone that I can carry around and also talk nonstop, for which I didn't have to pay. Because, otherwise, my father in those days, early days, was quite concerned that the telephone bill was going up all the time because permanently I was hanging on the phone and there were people calling for me. So I thought to myself, I cannot be dependent on my dad and my mom, scolding me all the time for hanging on the phone. I'm going to try to work in this phone company so that I'll have a free phone, and better than them knowing how long I've been hanging on the phone, etc., because the phone was outside, somewhere in my house. I wanted to get hold of a phone that I can quickly sneak into my bedroom and carry on my conversations, right? No matter where I was. So purely from that point of view, I applied for the job, and interviewed by these guys in Comvik and Millicom, from Sweden. They was the partners for Celtel, and I got the job, and I went to work at Celtel. So having worked at Celtel in market development, which was actually sales and account management, and then customer service, which I set up, then I moved on to the current Hutch, and of course Etisalat, the old Celtel, have now merged, but back then that company was Singtel owned, and it was called CallLink. So when they were setting up, I actually moved to that company, and then worked there for 5.5 years. And when CallLink was selling to Hutch, I decided to move out, to Dialog. And Dialog was like the fourth entrant. Out of sheer desperation, I moved to Dialog. From the better one, I moved to the not so great one. But I believed in Dr. Hans's passion, vision, and everything else. And I thought, okay, I even took a pay cut to work at Dialog. And in the first few months I worked at Dialog, I was actually worried whether I'll even get my salary. That's the humble beginnings at Dialog. So the lesson in it is, if you believe in someone, if you believe in what they're trying to achieve, never mind a little pay cut and whatever else, go for it. Because I had this amazing opportunity to build ground up, and work in that team to see what Dialog is today, which is remarkable, which has been a remarkable journey, and it's been a successful journey for me. Now, if I had at that time thought, no, I need a higher salary, better designation, bigger cubicle or room or whatnot, I would never have gone and joined. I took a step down, and that step backwards and step down gave me everything that I have achieved in the last 24 years at Dialog, which I never even imagined I would. So the opportunities were endless because the leadership was amazing. And, I grabbed every single challenge and opportunity that I had. Knowing that this family, the Dialog family, the picture you showed before, everybody was there to, help out whenever it was needed. So it's an amazing family, the cohesion, the passion, the energy, we can pick up, one can pick up from where the other stopped off. We don't have to talk to each other, particularly in COVID times now. We don't have to talk to each other at all. We all know exactly what we're supposed to do. We can second guess everybody in this senior leadership team, in this Dialog family.
So, what is it to, this is your /com family.
Yes.
So, what is it to be working in a man's world?
So, at first, I was really very worried, very scared, very nervous. More than anything, they were all 6 feet tall and more, and I was like 5 feet something. So, they stood tall, and they're all techies. And it was very, very scary for me at first. But again, Dr. Hans, being the person he is, he was the one who was a founder member at /com. Very quickly, he nominated me and said, IT BPO, she's the one doing BPO. I don't have too much interest in this. I'll support you. You have to go be my representative. So I joined /com 12 years ago. Proud to say that I've consistently stayed on the leadership team, appointed to the board twice, and so on, in and out. But there's nobody else in this team or any other team at Slascom who's actually consistently stayed on the leadership team for 12 years. And for obviously for women, it comes a little harder, because finally now after 12 years and thrice, two stints on the board and so on, I'm vice chair, and in 2 months I'll be appointed the chairperson of this IT-BPM industry chamber in Sri Lanka. I believe I've learned so much through this 12 years of being on this journey with them. And again, if you can see all the smiling faces, you can see, right? They're so friendly, they're so helpful, they are a family. We're just a good fun bunch, right? So everything we do voluntarily. Everybody's volunteer. Again, it's passion. So if it's not passion, I don't think you can consistently be volunteering half your day, half your time, to do these things that you want to do passionately for someone, to achieve something, and for the greater benefit, the greater good of the industry, the individuals around us, people in our companies, people who are going to come and work in our organizations, who are currently studying, who are students, who are undergraduates. And of course, in more recent times, I've taken a bigger role to look at women and to lead women. So I've initiated something called the Women Technopreneurs from Slascom. And I'm looking passionately at how we can help to Slascom has an aspiration of by 2025 having 1,000 startups in this country, so that we can bring in the much needed foreign currency into the country through our exports of software in particular, and of course our knowledge services. And within these 1,000 startups, I want to see how many startups I can, with my teams, encourage to be women led, because we lack so many so much women that can bring, but for something is a hindrance. And I just want to help to see how in these 1,000 startups there can be at least 25% which are women led startups. So that's really, oh my gosh, you have picked up all kinds of.
Is there a life other than Kasturi?
Life other than Kasturi? Well, we are partners in crime, and we sort of fit in well. I have lots of friends, but a handful of very close friends. She I knew from school, so you know how it is when you know someone from when you were a kid. It doesn't matter anymore what success you have. You go through so much in life together, all your ups and downs, challenges, encourage each other, fight with each other. You can stay honest, be honest. And so, to me, she's one of my closest friends. And when she went to, for her Harvard program, and she had a graduation, and her two kids are in Australia, they couldn't go. I just picked up a flight and just went straight in there, and I wanted her to have that experience. I bought flowers, I bought balloons, I bought a card like, say, you're graduating and all that stuff, and actually turned up there, and she was really embarrassed because I had these balloons and congratulations and all that. She was super embarrassed, but I got to be a part of, like, a parent is a part of like a kid's graduation ceremony, and enjoying all that. I actually was there to do that for her, and with her, meet all her lecturers, meet all her batch, have lunch, dinner with them, spend time with them, celebrate with them. So yes, she's a very close friend.
So, I mean, you're loads of fun.
Yes. Oh gosh. Embarrassing.
So yes. The question is, what is your advice to youngsters, Sandra? I mean, you have showed how humble you are to go at a low salary. You have been part of a company for 25 years. You have seen the brand grow from a 28 billion to a 54 billion, the turnover from 67 to 109, and you do the whole back end of the the whole customer service to keep the customers going. I mean, that's your leadership role in that whole family. Uh, and of course, you have time for your friends. I can see you're not lost. The purpose of putting that last shot was to tell how you're not lost that friends that you had, which a lot of people forget. When they move up the ladder, they forget their friends. And I mean, out of every 4 photos at FB, one is of Kasturi and you. So, what is your advice to youngsters, Sandra?
So first, I'd like to say that I have a daughter who's 27, and I understand youngsters really, really well. I've gone through my own set of challenges with my daughter. Being a difficult only child and being a difficult teenager, and typical early after graduation and all that. Boyfriends and the whole works, right? So I've been through all that. As a mom, it was always the first time for me, every single bit of it. But I'm that much better, as my daughter would say, with my own staff than I have been with her, because for me, the failures have been more with my daughter. The successes have been applying all that to the workplace and to the young people I work with. And maybe because I missed succeeding doing all that as well as I could have or should have now, with the experience I have. I do want to spend a lot of time with doing whatever I can with the younger people, right? So I have 2,000 young people working in my portfolio at Dialog, and they're all the age group of my daughter, anything from 20 to 35 at the most, not more. So one thing is that I draw from their energy and their passion and their enthusiasm at being young, to keep myself young, uh, in my head at least, if nothing else, because that is really very helpful. Uh, the other thing is that I try to teach them by my stories. So it's a lot of storytelling, a lot of lessons, a lot of hand holding. Consistency is important. Life is never easy. Every single human being is going to have their ups and downs. Sometimes in early life you have more downs than ups. Sometimes in latter part of your life you have more downs than ups. But either way, you will have your share of successes, failures, ups and downs, challenges and good times in life. It comes to all of us, I think, equally, whichever the way it goes. So one thing I can say is, when there's an opportunity or a challenge thrown at you, never give up. Challenges are always difficult, challenges are always scary, but you have the most amount of growth through those scary, difficult, challenging times, right? So you have to grab them. Another thing is, I'm never scared or shy to say I don't know. If I don't know something, I say, Ayo, here, I think I'm a real dudman. I didn't get it. Can you tell me again? Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you tell me again? Right? There's no shame in learning, and learning the way you want to learn, and gathering knowledge. So another thing is to always be the first to say you don't know, so somebody will teach you. To say I need help, or to say you're sorry when you're wrong, right? If you're wrong, you have to be the first to admit. So for me, I think being honest, building integrity for yourself, because end of the day, you're a brand, right? Rohanta, you're a brand. Sandra is a brand. Everyone's a brand, right? And how do we build our brand? It has to be through sincerity, through honest work, perhaps smart, hard work, through credibility, through trust, right? And in life, I truly believe what goes around comes around. And because of that, what goes around has to be good. Because if you want what comes around to be good, what goes around has to be good. Now, those are some of the very fundamentals, no, like magic mantra. Some of those things that I do. So don't be shy to or afraid to pick up your challenges, to work hard. Failures are the pillars to success. So the more times you fail, the more times you will succeed. And of course, stay honest, be humble. Never forget those who help you along the way. Be grateful. to me, every day in life, I think about, at the end of the day, about everything I'm grateful for when I go to bed. And I'm grateful, right? And in the morning when I wake up, I'm also grateful for even being able to breathe, for having a roof above my head, for everything so wonderful that I have been blessed with. So, building yourself to be a positive person, building a life of positivism, in a way that you can be a magnet, right? Now, Kasturi would say, my gosh, she's anecdotally, she'll say she's a man magnet, but what she means is she's a human magnet, right? So, what it is for me, relationships matter, relationships are important. And because of that, I want to be sure that I am attracting uh, like-minded good human beings that I can draw from as well, and equally that they can draw out of, that I have something good or positive to give back to others. So those are really the very, very fundamentals for me in life. You have to work hard. You can't be shamming around and hoping you'll have some funny chance to get to the top by doing some shortcuts. That never really works in the long run. It's going to come back to you, and you're going to fall flat on your face. So good hard work, being consistent, I think, will get you to success, slowly but or quickly, but it will keep you there for good.
It was lovely chatting with you, Sandra, and it was great spending some time with the MBA grads. My final question to you: what is your phone bill?
Would you believe it, Hunter? If I show you my phone bill, you won't believe it. But you can ask anyone at Dialog to go and look at my phone bill. You'll be amazed, right? I have absolutely no time to chit chat with my friends with this COVID life, especially. My phone bill is something like 2,000 something rupees, right? Anyway, my phone bill's never been more than like about 3, 4, 5,000 rupees ever. But for the most part, it's lurking around 1,000, 2,000 rupees. If I had to pay a bill, I'm glad that that's the bill that I would have to pay.
Thanks, Sandra. I really appreciate your time, and it's actually wonderful to. I think the only take that I can have is that it just shows how you have a fantastic science and a scientific mind in the way that you presented, but then when you go to the deep down to understand how you engage, you realize that you're absolutely so human, and how you connect with humans not only at workplace, but how you remain human right across from school age to now, which actually which is actually the thumbprint of Sandra de Soisa. Over to you, Kaushali. And thank you for coming back. You were out for 2 weeks, Kaushali. So you got a new hairstyle also, I can see. uh, over to you, Kaushali and Sandra. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed. If someone is looking for an inspiration, and dear students, this is for you. Being challenging personality, at the same time being a friendly personality, at the same time being a passionate personality, is the combination that you can always look for. And thank you so much, Sandra, for this contribution, sharing your experiences. And I am humbled and honored to have hosted this session today. It's amazing to have been connected with you, and I'm sure all our students would benefit in a next level of explanation from your thoughts and your experiences and your session today. So this brings us to another end of another session. And while thanking you, wish you all the very best to continue your passionate work in the future, and to be happy and to be safe. And while wishing all of you to be having a good night, we will meet back again in another forum. And until then, good night from our end.
Thank you
Bye
very
bye,
much.
Sandra. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Bye, Doctor.